It's good to be in nature again. My self-saboteur, which is part of human psyche that pretty much keeps us safe from experiencing our best life. Because you look at it, the best life that you want to live is not right here, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be striving for that. You wouldn't be dreaming of that. And the self-saboteur keeps us safe, wants to keep us safe because wants to go by default. That is our emotional response. That is like our emotional, we can call it basis, I suppose. So if anything feels unsafe, and this is connected to our childhood, when anything felt unsafe in our childhood, our minds now detect similar experiences, similar or rather potential of similar experiences, because very often those fears are connected to the future, what is yet to happen. And this pattern of psyche, this self-saboteur, prevents us from expressing ourselves authentically, express ourselves creatively, express our unique gifts and talents, because it prevents us from showing up in the world and among other people in the way we are. Sounds familiar? Sounds very familiar to me, for me. Therefore, I know that being in nature is very empowering for me, is very inspiring for me. But the part of my psyche that prevents me from, that basically fears the future, fears what's going to happen when I expand, when I am abandoned, when I am in my power. It fears that I will be left alone, I will be abandoned, I will be rejected, because those are my core wounds. And as I was saying that, I saw that it was 222. So that's a nice confirmation. Thank you, angels. So I actually wanted to talk about depression today, about my own experiences with depression, and I wanted to poetically explore that. But as it turns out, I'm happy with talking about self-saboteur. But actually, there is definitely a connection, because depression is one of those feelings that we want to hide from others, right? We want to hide that we are expressed. We put on the mask, and what if this is the very cause of depression? That we don't show up as ourselves. We hide ourselves from our own gifts and talents that are innately in our heart, in our body, and in this vehicle that we have, this physical vehicle. So if this could be the cause of depression, then instead of taking pills and doing therapy, the best possible way, and this obviously is very controversial, and whatever you think about it, that's your thing. I'm just talking about my own perspective. What if instead of doing that, looking outside for help, why don't we go back to our inner child and ask our inner child, what do you need? What do you need, lovely? What do you need right now? I know you love expressing yourself through this and that, and for some reason I've been unable to follow your lead because I felt unsafe. I felt that I wasn't good enough. I felt that I would always be in the shadow of other people who do the same thing. Because that's another, this human psyche is so complex. That's another thing that our mind does, is to employ inner critic that will always derail us from our path, because it will say, oh well, if you want to be a writer, then you have to be as good writer as the person of whom you love books. That wasn't correct in English, but fuck that. Right. So you know what I mean, yeah. So it's going to always compare ourselves to another person and from our field, from in the avenue we want to explore, we want to be good at, and depression can be the result of and symptom of us not following our path. And I would liken it to be feeling depressed is like being in the open ocean at night, not knowing your direction and looking for something to grasp on, something that would keep you afloat, but there's nothing. There's only water that pulls you down, the gravity of earth, and you will get tired of swimming. You will get tired of swimming, and you will get tired of looking for something to grasp on in panic. And therefore you will not see, you will forget that all the help that you need, in most cases, I would imagine, because obviously there is a case of brain being wired in a way that it makes depression more available. Came to me, but yeah, more available in experience. I'm talking about depression caused by us not knowing our direction or forgetting what our direction is. Yeah. So we swim, we try to grasp onto something, but the only help we can actually get is to reconnect with our own passions, with things we love to do, we love doing, with our inner child, going back to our childhood and remembering what brought us beautiful fulfillment. Yeah. And we circling back to the self-saboteur, right? Because self-saboteur is that part of our psyche that doesn't want to show our inner child to other people. So if you are sensitive like myself, then you might find that you will find difficult to show that sensitivity to other people, because you've had experiences in life that showed you that being sensitive feels unsafe and feels a little bit out of place. You don't feel like you belong and all those things. And in order to find fulfillment in life, which comes from our authentic expression, which comes from us following our heart, in order to achieve that, we need to confront all those fears of rejection, of abandonment, of not feeling appreciated. Yeah. The reward is great, but the challenge is equally great. So yeah, I'm going to leave you with that for your own contemplation, and I'm going to enjoy nature. Peace. Till the next time.